Hi, I'm Barbara. Welcome to Mess TS. Today we're going to embellish some velvet IKEA throw pillows with initials for a child's bedroom. Or you can spell out words. We've done yes, we've done play and put it on a couch. Anything really you can use this same idea for. But since initials are so popular, this is a really simple way to get that custom look. These are $7.99 throw pillow covers from IKEA. We're going to stuff them with the old throw pillows. Great tip for saving money. Don't throw away your old throw pillows, just stuff them into here. Or if you buy some from Goodwill, just throw the whole pillow into the washing machine, put it on the highest temperature, and then stuff it into a fresh new cover. Because the inserts are usually like sometimes $20 if you get nice ones. So, tip number one, velvet, don't iron it on a high heat. I didn't check my temperature, so I have a little bit of funny stuff in the corner here, but I'm just making these to show you. I actually am going to put them into a little girl's room, so I'll fluff that up or make her a different one. But here's how we started. I found a font that I liked. I put the initials on the page, highlighted them, and then just went through the list of fonts, watching them change until I saw a letter that I liked the look of. You don't want anything that's too skinny and going to be too difficult to cut out and sew around. I wanted a traditional look because these are going with some Pottery Barn bedding. You may want something that's a little more out there. They have all kinds of interesting fonts for like a motocross room or a space room. Get creative. I printed this in a 600 font to fill the whole page. So I did a page for each letter, an H and an E. These are both in the Georgian font, 600. So, started with my piece of paper. Then I laid that piece of paper down on top of a piece of something called heat and bond. Well, actually, let's take a step back for a second. Have my piece of paper, set it aside. You are going to go to the fabric store and buy something called heat and bond, heat N bond. I hate it when they do that. Ultra hold. This is one-sided with glue and one side has paper. But it specifically says, and it is in a different section of interfacing than the one-sided glue-on interfacing. That is not what you're looking for here. You are looking for something to bond it to the fabric. So it has to have glue on both sides. And the end of the bolt will say two-sided. So this is Ultra Bond, no-sew, strongest no-sew adhesive. That's what you're looking for. So you take it, cut a piece out. I'll just show you a small piece because I already have a piece ironed onto the fabric here. Put the paper side up so that you don't get the glue on your iron, and then just set your iron on there. You don't have to apply a ton of pressure. It doesn't have to be super high. This particular brand says it doesn't require high heat adhesive or steaming. Some of them do, so read carefully, because if you're using a fabric like velvet, you don't want a fabric that has to have high heat adhesive. And that's it. It's glued on there, okay? So here's a bigger piece that I did already. We're going to take that and lay the E on top of it. Now, if you like things to be absolutely perfect, and frequently I do, you will put a pin through that. But I actually am not going to do that because I don't want holes in it. You could just run some Scotch tape around it, or you could just be super careful and keep checking and replacing your letter. I like to go around the whole thing as a square first, because then I'm not dealing with the entire piece of fabric. So you just keep relining your edges and your spaces. And then I can pick this up and deal with a much more manageable piece. Okay? So there's the outline of our E. Now I'm going to go back in there and cut all the way around it. I have already done that with an H. Here's my H. I laid it on top. I cut it out. It's exactly the same. Fabric on one side, the paper side of the heat and bond on the other. So now we are ready to apply this to the fabric. First of all, think about where your zipper is. You want your zipper to be on the back side on the bottom, so that when you're making the bed, you have nice sides all the way up, or putting it on the sofa or whatever. So think about where your zipper is. The tag is usually going to be on the zipper side, so make sure that's on the bottom facing the back. Then center your letter, measure it, do whatever makes you happy to center it. Now you can see that there's plenty of room on here. I could put a ribbon around the outside, and I may actually do that. I have some ribbon left over that I was going to use on a lampshade project. So let me pull this back into the middle so you can get a better look at it. So you can put a border around it. You could make your letters even larger. You could put something that they love or a heart. You can decorate it however you want. You could put hi with a heart. That would be cute. But when these get really full, you don't see all the way to the edges. So I'm happy to just do the initials on these. They're just like a new bedroom warming for a family that I'm helping them create this new shared bedroom. And I always like to make a little something or give a little something that adds something to the room when I do a design project. So the way we're going to adhere that is simply peel the paper. I say simply, and then watch, it's not going to peel off. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this one more shot with this iron while it's hot, so that I do not peel the glue off with the paper, because I ironed this a couple of days ago, getting ready to share it with you, and I want to make sure that it's on there right. Okay, so now you have to look for like a tiny corner, or create a corner where you can get the paper and the fabric apart. And if you have done your job and it has adhered, the back of the fabric will be shiny, which it is, hooray! And the paper will come off cleanly. And the paper is basically just like wax paper once you get all the glue off of it. So throw that away. Center this. Now this saves you. I have tried to do applique by pinning things in place, and they just move. This is the easiest way to applique anything onto anything else. This by itself will not be enough to hold the fabric on there. Little girls making their beds, the edges of the fabric will fray, the things will come loose. You have to also stitch it down. So I have centered it a tiny bit high intentionally, because, I mean, literally a tiny bit, like ½ an inch off of center high. Because when you're looking at the bed, you see the top side of the pillow. And then I'm going to go over it. I do not have this on my highest setting because I don't want to damage the velvet. You could, if you're worried about a specific fabric, you could do this from the inside too, once you had it placed. It wouldn't hurt you. But on the setting I have it on, which is a medium low, it's not hurting anything. All right, so that is adhered. So the only thing left to do is to do a satin stitch all the way around. And if you want to come in and get a closer look, I will show you how to do that. So to do a satin stitch, whatever your sewing machine is, and mine's an ancient Bernina, you set it on zigzag about, I have a 3 setting, medium wide, and take it all the way down to like a quarter. Right here on mine it shows that means satin stitch and it's close together, one's here, a half is there, and we're clear down here, halfway between a half and 0 to get the satin stitch. So we're going to do a lock stitch in place, and then keeping the edge of the fabric right in the center guide of our foot. We're not going to push the fabric, we're just going to let it go slowly. It's like doing a buttonhole. I'm going to keep a little bit of tension on it, but just a small amount. Then do the keep the needle down trick if you can, if your sewing machine has that, so that when you turn at the corners, you can turn like that. Okay. Now this takes a while, and I'm actually going to make mine a tiny bit wider because it's getting bunchy. I'm going to actually have to probably go back and fix some of that. There we go. Here we go. So that's about the speed you want it to go. And just, so I will go back and I'm going to seam rip out that first couple of things where it got bunched up there in the corner. You can see that we are just following the line of the fabric, making sure that the back part of the pillow doesn't get underneath. I have it open. And we are going to do this all the way around, completely 100%, every part of it, so that nothing is left. And then you'll see it on the bed.